my first song was in preschool, and it was "My tummy hurts so much" or something. I have to go home. I don't know. I've learned over time that you cannot listen to the mean people, because there are always mean people. You have to be confident in who you are and love yourself. I hope one day, like, I can really, really lay everything out in all of my music, and I think it's gonna happen soon. So.
Yeah. Hi, this is Lauren Engel. Today I'm here with baby Ariel.
Hello, hi. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So you were born in Fort Lauderdale?
I was born in Fort Lauderdale, yes, in 2000. Fort Lauderdale, in a town called Pembroke Pines, and yeah.
Are your parents from Florida as well?
So my mom is from New Jersey, and I've never been there actually. I wish.
Oh.
And my dad is from Panama.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so and then for some reason they both came to Florida, so which is great.
And is most of your like extended family also in Florida? Or?
Yes, actually. So my whole dad's side, they're from Spain, and they also moved to Florida. They're like 20 minutes from us. And then my mom's side is also all in Florida. Which is why we haven't like moved here fully yet, because my entire family is in Florida.
And your mom's an actress, right? And your dad's a musician?
Yeah, so my dad used to be in a band, and he had like 20 different band names. I can't even say one because I forgot all of them.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, and then he went to school for film, and my mom, she did theater her entire life growing up.
So since you were born, they were doing that, like in Florida, or?
Yeah, actually my mom, I wish she had it, but she stopped because when I was born, the theater, she would have like a show every night, and she wasn't there with me as much. So she stopped doing theater, and then my dad, he still makes music actually, which is great because he helps me with my music. We write together a lot. But now my mom wants to get back into theater.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What kind of music were they playing in the house when you were growing up?
Ooh, okay. My dad played a lot of Prince, the Beatles, 24. I think it was mostly the Beatles. When I got older, he showed me Eminem. There's a huge sound over there. Showed me Eminem. What else? Billy Idol, I think his name was. Coldplay, U2. Mostly the Beatles, though, I will say. Like every single album 20 million times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did they try to get you to learn an instrument?
I play piano, yeah. I am starting back up again, and I still play, but for a while it was like intensive classes. And not even like to, you know, become the famous pianist or anything, just it was weird. Like my family has always been very musical and artistic, and my dad grew up playing piano, and so he wanted me to also play piano, which I'm so thankful for because I love it now so much at the time.
Did you feel like because they were in creative career paths that you ended up to do something creative as well?
You know, they never ever forced anything on me or my brother, but I feel like that was just like the household that we grew up in, and that's who I am, that's who they are, that's who my brother is, and it's just a very natural, I don't know, it's kind of like we got lucky that we're all not just who we are, but we have each other, which is great because we could work together on everything. But it was never forced, like that just, I love what I do, you know.
And you're always into like drawing and like writing and stuff,
Yes,
right?
I write a lot. I've been writing since I was in preschool. I would talk to my mom, and I couldn't really write then, but I would talk to my mom, and she would write everything down in my journal. Yeah.
What kind of stuff was it?
It was really, my first song was in preschool, and it was "My tummy hurts so much" or something. I have to go home. I don't know. A lot of songs. I wrote everything down.
Did you stumble upon your journal recently and like look back on it?
Yeah, I did a YouTube video actually where I pulled out all of my old journals and read through them because I hadn't looked through them for years, and I wanted to just sit down and look through them. And I was like, we might as well film a video, and it was I talk about like my boyfriend in preschool and
preschool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was crazy.
How do you describe yourself back then growing up?
How do I describe myself? You know, I think I was very much who I am now, just a younger version, or right now I'm an older version of who I was. I was very outgoing and bubbly, and I was kind of I want to say interested in everything. Like I tried soccer, I tried gymnastics, I tried dance, and I wrote every day, I sang, I played piano. Like I wanted to just experience as much and see what I liked and try new things. And now I found what I love to do, but at the time I just was figuring I want to try everything out.
Did your parents push you academically in school?
Yeah, they were always very big on academics, but I will say like very big on academics, but in like our house, what was just as important was, you know, finding what you love to do, finding your passion, being creative, and learning more about like experiencing the world. Like we still go on a lot of family trips, and on the trips we'll go, like we went to Versailles, for example. We did this tour of Versailles where we walked around, and they taught us all about, you know, the kings and the queens who lived there. So like they're very like life learning too, if that makes sense.
What were your favorite subjects?
Favorite subjects? Writing, 100%, and reading.
Were you really good at that in
English?
I like in English.
I remember in kindergarten I wrote this story, and my teacher loved it, and she made me like read it in front of the whole class, and I was so proud. I was very good at narrative essays. It was like where you make up a story, you know. I loved it.
What were or are your favorite books?
My favorite books growing up, I read when I was little. I read a ton of Junie B. Jones books. My favorite. I read The Hunger Games. What else? Junie B. was my big.
Yeah.
That was what I loved to read. And there was also like the Boxcar Children. Do you know those?
No.
Oh my god, I loved those. And yes, we're
running. This light has like 4 more seconds.
I know, 3, 2, and we're dead. Okay. Okay, we should run.
The excitement of keeping our viewers on their feet.
I know. Hi. Yes, we're still alive. Thank you.
How would you describe the personality of your brother?
My brother, he's very much like me in the sense that he is very outgoing, very bubbly. What I admire about him so much, and what I look up to with him, is that he's so himself. He does not care what anybody in the world has to say about him. I remember in I want to say like 1st grade, he wanted to paint his nails and go to school.
Yeah.
And at the time, like some kids like were being mean to him in school, and we were like, you know, we're very open to anything, so you can go ahead, like just keep in mind, some kids may say something, but just no. And he's like, I don't care. And he went to school with his like nail polish, and he painted his nails, and he played with Barbies, and he's so himself. I love it.
And then I guess the big thing happened was that your house got flooded, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. It was so bad. That was 3 years ago. The pipes under my sink broke, and my mom was home, and she said it was just a huge flood. There was mold. We had to like basically start my entire kitchen over. We had to redo the entire thing. So during that time, we moved to my grandparents' house, and we lived with my grandparents for, I want to say like 6 months. And while my house was being remodeled. And yeah, that's when I started music.
But previously you were just on like social media, just chatting with your friends, right?
Exactly, yeah. So I've always really used social media, but during that time, because we were at my grandparents' house and I didn't have much to do because my parents were always they were always at the house, like doing reconstruction and handling everything. I was at home in my grandparents' house all the time, so I found this app called Musical.ly, and I started making lip-syncing videos, and one of them got featured one day, and I started gaining a following, and yeah, it went from there.
Did your parents know that you were putting yourself out there?
They knew, but we all didn't know to what extent. I was gaining a following, and I didn't really know either. Like I would get featured one day, and I was like, oh my god, cool, and then I really started to gain a following. My parents were like, oh wow, this is cool, and I started to research a ton of YouTubers, and I saw they did YouTube for a living. I was like, oh okay, so maybe I start to really do this. So I went on Musical.ly, and I started to say, okay guys, go follow my Instagram, and guys, I'm gonna do a YouTube video next week, for example, and I made a YouTube video and people started watching my YouTube videos, and then I would say, okay, go to my Twitter, hi Twitter, whatever, and then post on Twitter. I made it like a big circle, you know, and promoted everything.
Were your parents ever afraid, like after they saw like how big it's become, of like how much you're putting yourself out there? Were they like screening any of your videos, or you were just kind of like putting out whatever you wanted to do?
At the time, which isn't good, I was putting out whatever I wanted to do, and over time I've learned not to do that. But like just some songs that I think I wouldn't use now, but we didn't know like how crazy it was gonna get at that time, so it was kind of like, okay, let's just post whatever.
And then did people start treating you differently in school?
Yeah, so I got big the summer going into my 9th grade, and I think already being a freshman in a high school is a pretty scary thing. You're already navigating this new world and you have to make new friends, and plus getting big on social media for lip syncing, it didn't make anything any better. So some kids would say, scream things at me down the hallway, or look at me in class kind of funny, and it did hurt a lot. You know, people suck online sometimes, and I would come home and I would cry, and it was bad. But you know, I've learned over time that you cannot listen to the mean people, because there are always mean people. You have to be confident in who you are and love yourself.
And then the first time someone recognized you, you were like at Walmart wearing pajamas,
yes,
right?
oh my gosh. And okay, so I was at Walmart one day with my brother and my dad, and we were just at Walmart. I was in my pajamas. I did not know anybody was going to see me, anything. I've never been recognized in public, so I didn't even think about it. And I got home, and all of a sudden this picture of me in pajamas was like on Instagram everywhere, and I was like, oh my god, who took this? And like somebody's caption was, oh my god, I saw baby Ariel at Walmart. And I was like, how did they know who I was? Why did they know like what just happened? And I started to freak out a little bit, and then I realized, oh my god, this is like a real thing, 'cause I've never been recognized in public before. So it's like, okay, real people are starting to notice me, and they're starting to see who I am, which was the weirdest thing, but it was great.
Did it click? Was there like a turning point that you started to become a role model, or like people like looked up to you for advice, and you, I guess, had to be like more pickier with the stuff you do? Yeah,
it was. I want to say it was a YouTube video that I posted when I was first starting. It was because I was getting a lot of hate on social media, and instead of ignoring it, I wanted to address it. So I made this video addressing it and basically saying to my followers, like, hey, like, I'm getting hate too, but don't worry about what anybody has to say about you. You know, you're beautiful and love yourself. And so my fans like really started to respond to that video, and they're like, oh my god, Ariel, thank you so much for this. I started to talk to them about like their bullying stories and if they've gotten harassed online. And yeah, it was like, it was a weird feeling knowing that people actually looked up to me, you know. But I knew then, like, okay, I could use this and do something good, and that's what I want. I want to make people happy. That's all I want to do. And so, yeah, that was when I realized I could really make people happy.
And how did the Nicki Minaj thing happen?
Oh my god, that was it was through Musically, I think. She was coming out with a new song, and she invited me to come in and make a Musically with her to that new song, and that's exactly what I did. And I went in and I met her, and she was the sweetest person on the planet. And yeah, we made a Musically. I'm still like, I watched that Musically.
Shock, I feel like
I'm like thinking about it now. Oh, she was so sweet. I can't. She's like, I love her.
And then what was the turning point that you wanted to put a lot of your energy into music?
It was, you know, it's weird. I've always really done music because of my dad's musical background.
Yeah. And
it's always been a part of me and what I wanted to do. But I was always nervous because, like, putting yourself out there with music, for me, like, it was scary, and I wanted to make sure I was confident in my voice and I knew what kind of music I wanted to do. But once I figured that out, like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I started to go into the studio, record and write, and I gained like a confidence once I got into the studio. I was like, okay, you know what, we're gonna do this, we're gonna go for it, this is my dream, and I'm gonna work at it, and we're gonna do it. And yeah, it was a whole mindset kind of thing.
Was it difficult going into studios with, I guess, people like a lot older than you and needing to like share your lyrics and what you're going through?
Yeah.
Or, like, even to like make a song, that's like you never really did that before.
No, yeah, like the only writing I had done before was in my room on my bed or with my dad, you know, and it's my dad, like I'll tell him anything. But going in with other people, it's like, oh, I actually have to like talk about my feelings now, we have to discuss this. But the first few sessions, I will say, were kind of weird, and I was kind of like, okay, why? Like, what's happening here? I don't want to talk about my feelings, I don't know what's happening, I'm going to do it in my room, on my bed. But over time, you just get used to it. And yeah, you start writing songs with great people. I have loved everybody that I've met, and yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. How did you realize the style of music you could make? Because you actually could have, like, coming into it without doing any music before, you could have made like a lot of different styles, but you decided on like kind of like pop.
Yeah. Oh, this way I got it. Okay. I guess that was just, it's like my favorite style of music, and that's what speaks to me, and that's what resonates with me, so that's what I wanted to share and bring to the world. I don't know, like that's just who I am, you know? And yeah, like I couldn't see myself doing rap, like my natural writing.
I'm like imagining it now.
Like imagine me rapping, like when I'm like my just style when I'm writing is pop, and I like when I'm writing I hear like the music and it's pop and it's these sounds, and like all has a bunch of quirky like sounds, like the baby laughing, for example. It's like what? That's me.
Yeah. And you're really inspired by Jillian Michaels, right?
Yes, I love her. Oh my god, I love how raw and I love how raw and real she is with her music. Like she really just lets everything go, and she's herself, and she talks about all of her problems and her issues, for example. And yeah, I hope one day like I can really lay everything out in all of my music, and I think it's gonna happen soon. So.
Yeah. What was the inspiration behind Gucci on My Body?
So Gucci on My Body, what it's really talking about is you know, you can feel like you have everything, and sometimes people look at, you know, what I do and say, oh my god, how can she not be happy one day, or how can she not have a smile on her face 24/7? And I really do have a smile on my face 24/7, but it's talking about how you can think you have everything, but the only thing you really want is this person on your mind. Or even like, I think of it sometimes as not just having somebody on your mind, but you're only happy if you're doing this one thing, or if you're writing or singing, for example. It's like people think you have everything, but sometimes you don't have everything and you want just this one other thing.
How's your relationship with your parents change over time? Because they do your business stuff, right?
Yes, they do. We have actually gotten a lot closer through everything, because I'm homeschooled now, so I spend 24/7 with my mom. So she's like my big sister, and she's my best friend, and our whole family has gotten closer, and they're amazing. I mean, the fact that they come out to LA with me every single trip, and they come to every meeting, and they're here all the time, is the biggest blessing ever.
I love that. What does love mean to you?
What does love mean? Never had that question before. That's a good question. What does love mean? I don't know. And I'm the biggest believer in love too, because like my parents met when they were 15.
Oh my.
And like I see the way my parents are with me, and like I don't know what it means. I think it means everything. In my world, I'm like, you know, I love more than anything, and it's everything. Like if you don't have love, then I don't know.
Last question. What do you want to be remembered for?
Hopefully being myself and putting my true, authentic self out to the world, and hopefully can be somebody who people look up to because of that.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you!
Bye!